Hi, this is Jonathan Grossman from What's the Issue? I'm going to talk to you for a few moments about contracts. My contracts video is a little different than probably a lot of the other ones that you've seen for a couple of big but basic reasons. Number one, we're not going to get into all the tiny minutia of every UCC rule that you probably never heard of and that practically you couldn't remember on the MBE anyway. We're going to reduce all the clutter to basic black letter plain English law. The video is distinguished, separated, broken down into the main several little chapters, the very distinct chapters that separate the basic law from contracts. For example, you can just view the third-party beneficiary and assignment of rights chapter, which is totally separate from parole evidence and totally separate from contract formation, or the hated remedies. So instead of just going on and droning on for a number of hours where all these issues get mushed together and you don't really, or you're not able to separate each issue, now you'll be able to take 15, 20 minutes, a half an hour, get some basic black letter law down for each of these areas. And my specialty is then to give you an approach on what to do with a parole evidence question, how to approach a third-party beneficiary question and not confuse it with an assignment question, which is what happens. Every question looks like it could be about formation, right? And you know the definition of offer and acceptance. Why are you getting a lot of those questions wrong? Probably because you're just mushing a lot of concepts together because you're literally trying to put too much information in your head. I take all the pressure off of you. Just sit back, listen to me, we'll have a nice conversation. I'll give you the minimum amount of black letter law. I'll tell you how to approach the firm offer question, how to approach the different types of consideration questions. When I ask people what's consideration, they tell me the bargain for exchange definition, yes, but then they think that every answer is about that. And I'll show you the different 4 or 5 ways they test you on consideration, see the difference between the way those issues are tested. You have no problem. It just becomes a one-line definition and a little reading comprehension, which is really what this whole test is about. So instead of looking at contracts as some intimidating thing, thinking that all the questions are going to be about remedies, and yes, the remedies section does stink, and there's some very technical exception rules in there. There's a lot of other rules you can get right. And so bluntly, not to be patronizing, for a lot of you, including me, there are some areas in contracts you're not going to be an expert in. But if you can just get a little better in 4 or 5 areas by knowing some basic black letter law, not confusing it with everything else, even if you miss the exception to the lost profit thing, assuming there is even an exception out there, but you know what I'm talking about, even if you miss that question, you can get a lot more statute of fraud questions, parole evidence, formation questions, etc. Get more points right in the areas of law that you do know, that I can explain to you, that I can give you a basic approach to. And don't worry about those other questions, because all you're trying to do is accumulating some points. And my job is to come up with enough different areas in contracts that if you can just get some basic law, separate these black letter definitions, know what third party looks like, know what parole evidence looks like, and not just pick that same answer you've probably been picking all along, distinguish what each fact pattern looks like, you can be stunned how many more questions you can get right in contracts, even if you'll never talk about this stuff again for the rest of your life the day after the bar. Just get some more points. I look forward to making that happen for you. Best of luck.